You guys are a bunch of nobodies that are coming into a business that you know nothing about.
I'd like to introduce my guest today, formerly with Inland Pro Wrestling, a.k.a. Spokane Anarchy Wrestling, or SAW, and recording artist, Mark Mayhew. Welcome,
hey, brother. Hey, man, it's a pleasure to be on your show.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you found some time to come on. You know, right off the bat, we've known each other for a while, and we talked a little bit, and I know there's some stuff you need to unload, and so let's just get to the point, and let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Because everybody's ego put together will not fit in this room.
And from the beginning of SAW, that morphed into Inland Pro Wrestling. So how did you get started in the crazy world of professional wrestling?
Now, the way I got started in the world of professional wrestling, I mean, as I'm sure most people do, I've been a fan ever since, you know, as far back as I can remember. And at the age of 17 years old, I had found out there was a local backyard wrestling organization known as Spokane Anarchy Wrestling. And I initially showed up just to be a fan. My older brother, Lauren Rupert, a.k.a. Burbs, he was having his debut match. And when I got down there, I had talked to their commissioner, and my brother had informed him that I had done a few backyard wrestling matches. Of course, nothing good, as most yard tarding is, but they asked me if I would like to make my debut alongside him, and it was really on the spot. I mean, I was in a tank top and jeans, but I took the opportunity and went for it, had a horrible accident my first day, which resulted in me needing to get stitches over my left eye.
There is no, I'm this, I'm that. Doesn't fucking happen. Go to WWE training camp right now and try to tell them you know something.
But, you know, that's how backyard wrestling is, and from there I just kept showing up every week, and it just evolved.
So were you properly trained, or you just went in and...
Oh, I totally went in, no training whatsoever, just, you know, thinking that I knew what was up because I had watched wrestling my whole life, as most young backyard wrestlers do.
Uh-huh. And, yep, see, kids out there, if you're not properly trained, you get hurt. See what happened to him in his first match?
That's because if you don't like it, there's the fucking door.
Okay, well then, so was that SAW at the time?
Yes, that was Spokane Anarchy Wrestling, and that was in 2006.
Okay. So then from there, what happened?
From there, I just continued week in and week out. I had actually made myself quite the controversial character right off the bat.
You don't have to flex your nuts if you have them. You already know you do.
From what I've been told by their producer, they had never had really any interviews before, and hell
to the no, 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 come on, come on, come on, hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
Okay. So at what time, back up, did you guys have a wrestling ring? Was it makeshift or?
It was literally just in a park on the grass. I mean, this was like the lowest of low ball wrestling that you could have at the time. And we had a guy by the name of Abe Jones, who was a mixed martial artist who kind of did a little bit of training for the guys, at least how to go with moves rather than against them, keep us a little bit more safe. But he saw a bit something inside of me that he wanted to capitalize on, mainly my passion for the industry of professional wrestling as a whole.
I'm this, I'm that.
And from there, I mean, it just, week after week, it just kept growing and growing.
So from there, when did you graduate into a professional wrestling ring?
We actually had gotten our professional wrestling ring, and I believe it was 2013. Before that, we had, you know, the makeshift rings, which started in 2012. So 6 years into it is when we finally had a ring, which was a makeshift ring. 2013, we had our makeshift ring for that season, but they had also purchased a wrestling ring that year, which is when everything just completely stepped up.
Mm-hmm. So and at one point, were you ever properly trained? Did you get some training?
At that point, I actually had stepped down from the aspect of wrestling and slipped into a managerial role. In 2007, I had my first of 2 lung surgeries, unrelated to wrestling. But that's what kind of took me out of the the aspect of being a wrestler. I mean, my cardio was shot after, lung surgery. I couldn't keep my breath. So, my best friend still to this day, my best friend, Daniel Revita, he had become their top athlete. And he asked me to start managing him, which is when we had formed a group known as the Natural Born Killers. And with his athleticism and my voice, we had really managed to get over with the fans and just really continued from there.
Nice. So how did the fans continue to grow, or?
Oh, that's one thing that I will always credit those guys. They've always managed to improve their fan base every single year. It went from 15 people coming and watching to, 40 people coming to watching, and now they're averaging over 200 fans per show. Wow,
that's, I have to say there's a lot of feds that underground, promotions don't even draw that much.
I think the main thing that attracts the fans is all of their shows have since day one been free admission.
Oh, free admission. Gotcha. Well, so from there, what happened, or what went on?
Well, really what had happened was, the company continued to grow. In 2013 was my last stint as a manager. Starting in 2014, I had taken a step back, started working in their backstage area, helping coordinating things. A guy by the name of Jesse Lawson, he is actually the founder of Spokane Anarchy Wrestling. He took the time. He called me his Pat Patterson. I really just kind of helped with making sure the wrestlers had what they needed, making sure they knew their finish, everything.
I'm this, I'm that.
Backstage that they needed, I was always there to make sure that they had somebody on deck that could help with any little tidbit here and there. As of the last 2 years,
I'm this, I'm that.
I had slipped into commentary in 2015 as their color commentator. And then this last year, I had done all of their backstage interviews.
Me being the guy who has to sit with you at the broadcast table, that needs you to be focused, that since you're the guy that's paid.
Oh, okay. Now I've noticed that you're using quite a few wrestlers from Portland. What
Yes.
were some of the wrestlers that came to the promotion?
We have had Donovan Edsel, also known by his name down in Portland as Buddy Highway.
You can hate me, you don't have to like me, but you know this, I'm one damn good professional wrestler and the best in the Northwest, period.
The Moonshiners, JB Moonshine, Pa Moonshine, Jameson Moonshine, and most recently from Portland, we've had Lance Dean, who I can't even lie, I mark out on Lance Dean all the time. He's one of my favorite talents in all of professional wrestling to this day.
Right on. So then from there, at one point did it go from SAW to Inland Pro?
We actually had just celebrated the 10th anniversary of our biggest show of the year, Wrestle Rave. It was in July, and at that point, we had changed the name after Wrestle Rave to Inland Pro Wrestling. They are officially launching their first Inland Pro Wrestling show, in November. Right now, it's in that transition phase.
Mm-hmm.
And, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I
was just going to say, they're really in that transition phase at this point. Completely changing the dynamics of the company, making it a lot more professional, incorporating a lot more training, which is very nice. A lot of these guys went from being just strictly backyard wrestlers to...
When it comes to wrestling, when it comes to anything of learning the basics, learning technique, learning psychology, you're damn right, JD is my boss. And I say that with no regret, no shame whatsoever, because he's got 10 plus years of training.
Getting the training that they need to be able to become fully trained independent wrestlers.
Now, do they have someone that's qualified to train them? Do they?
They've had a few seminars here and there lately, which included J.D. Mason as well as Chuck Payne. They just did a seminar recently, and a young fellow by the name of Rook Kelly, who was trained by Mr. Hughes. When he came back from his training a couple of years ago, he started doing as much as he could to teach everything that he had learned to the boys of Inland Pro.
Gotcha. So do they have any main trainer? Do they have an official school?
I love it. This guy's got some good ones.
Oh no, I mean it's really everybody's just kind of learning on the fly whenever they're able to put together seminars and get somebody with the training to come down and just teach everything. That's what they do. But no, they don't really have a school so much as just training whenever they can, utilizing whoever's willing to come down and teach them just something new. Every show they seem to improve due to a lot of just working with these guys from Portland and working with the guys from the Tacoma area. You know, so it's really just kind of on the fly training.
Now are these shows coming up? Are they going to be paid shows?
Since you're the guy that's paid, and then Chris is in the background having to tell me, hey man, I'll get a hold of you. Tom can't take care of himself right now. Right. And that's a problem. That is a problem.
You know, as far as I know, the only guys that really seem to be getting any sort of pay is the out-of-town wrestlers. A lot of these local guys are being quote-unquote paid with the simple experience of getting to work with these trained professionals, which, in my opinion, is really bad for the business as a whole. I mean, they're taking these young guys with a lot of hopes and dreams and...
No, this is stop. Enough. This is the problem. Right here. This is the problem.
Yeah,
You're bringing your personal problems into this. This is the problem. Mark, I understand what you're saying, okay?
Letting them feel like they're getting paid simply with the experience of getting to be on camera, getting to be inside of a ring. So, I mean, a few of the guys get paid, like the out-of-towners, but the local guys are not getting any sort of pay.
Since you're the guy that's paid...
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword, though, too. It's bad for the business not getting paid, and it's bad for the business using untrained wrestlers for a show.
What you're going to do is get your ass out of here right now.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. So, I have a big thing, and I know you heard my rant, too, especially people that have been in the business, you know, like I do. You know, I travel, I wrestle more out of state than locally because no one wants to pay, and I truly believe in my ring brother, Chief Attakullakulla, which I know you know him very well because you made his ring music.
Oh yeah, Chief is my, I won't even lie, he's kind of like a father figure for me in the world of professional wrestling. He's somebody that I've always been able to talk to and call if I've ever had any issues or questions about how professional wrestling works. He's by far, in my opinion, one of the greatest assets to independent wrestling.
You know, I agree 100%, and he's exactly. And we have a big thing, you know, you get what you pay for, and we're professional wrestlers, not volunteer wrestlers. And
right.
And a lot of these people whore themselves out.
We're not going to be able to get paid until we act like people that are responsible and start working like people that are getting paid. Yeah, we're going to have to work like we're getting paid and not getting paid for like a month or two to get to where money's coming in. So we can get paid. We can't just talk back and sit back and be like, I ain't doing shit like it's a job until you pay me. Then you're never going to get paid.
It ruins it for the other people in the business, and I think you have the same views also.
Well, my biggest issue with the lack of pay, especially for these younger kids that are going in there, is, you know, they're putting on very intense matches where they damage their bodies, you know, they risk themselves.
That's because if you don't like it, there's the fucking door.
And I mean, I know that exposure is always, you know, a plus, but I mean, if one of these guys ends up hurt, or, you know, they end up having to lose their career, they're sacrificing their bodies with really nothing to show for it but just memories and the ability to say, hey, yeah, I was in a wrestling company.
Yep, and that note, too, is the promoter's fault.
You think this is fucking easy? None of this is fucking easy.
Using untrained wrestlers, and these untrained wrestlers don't know any better, so they're going to go all out and do... You don't have to do 100 million high spots. Less is more. You know, I've been doing the business a long time, and
you're a dumbass because that wasn't my theme song when I won the match.
I do very minimal, not because I'm lazy and don't want to, is because you don't want to give everyone everything all at once, and sometimes less is more.
Go to WWE training camp right now and try to tell them you know something.
Oh, you know, it was actually the chief who had pointed something out before that I really took to heart. Was he had talked about the fact that he uses a very old school style where he'll target a limb, work the limb.
Yep.
You know, he can tell a story without having to risk the health and the welfare of the person he's in the ring with. And
yourself.
Exactly. And I mean, Bret Hart recently spoke out about the whole controversy with Seth Rollins. And, you know, when you're going out there and you're just doing these high spots over and over, you're just risking the health and welfare of somebody who's putting their health in your hands.
On top of everything else, Tom, I'm showing up, I'm doing real work. I'm not sitting at a table waiting for people to come to me and then being paid for it. Reality of the situation. Everybody else sees it. And I'm not trying to go off on you about it because I like working with you. I really do. But don't sit there and act like you're Mr. Head of the Table doing all the work when in reality, I'm the one who had to last show call you over 6-7 times and say, Tom, we need to go get these interviews taken care of. Well, hold on a minute. I'm talking to this guy.
And it just seems like the world of professional wrestling is developing a lot more injuries just due to the fact that maybe it has something to do with the fans demanding these spot fests or these wrestlers that aren't putting each other's safety as top priority.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, and that's the problem though. The art is slipping away, and I think a lot of it has to do with people getting into the business too easy. You know, before it was more like a secret society.
Yes.
And the long rides for going to territories. You know. Driving to the next territory, the rookies that sit down, shut up, or drive and shut up and listen to the old timers talk.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Like, what I was getting to the point at. There's been times when the crowd chants boring, and what you do, you might take them and put them in a front face lock or armbar, and you sit down and you stay in that rest hold until the fans shut up. And then maybe go into a high spot and stuff. You got to people just don't know how to dictate to the fans. You're supposed to run the show. And then you get a lot of these high spot monkeys. They mess up one move. They're deer in the headlights. They don't know what to do because the art of working is gone. It's all about rehearsing the whole match. Sorry, I'm going on a rant.
Oh, no, for me, this is a great experience just, to listen to somebody with the experience. And I think that's something that's managed to separate me from a lot of these other guys is even as somebody who's not a wrestler, I make it a point whenever a veteran speaks to me to close my mouth and open my ears and listen.
Master of suspense. That's what I do.
You hold the belt.
So it doesn't matter who it is. Quit talking. So it doesn't matter who it is. Tonight, I'm walking out the champion.
To these voices of experience, because that's what a lot of these guys fail to do is they come in, they have a couple good matches, and they suddenly think that they're a top paid worthy act. And it seems a lot of the respect of the business is fading out with this younger generation of wrestlers.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to now it's morphing into inland pro wrestling. So what happened then? So you're doing backstage commentating now, right? That's the word.
I'm this, I'm that.
I was doing the backstage interviews. I mean, there's every single show for the last about a year now. You can go back, watch the interviews, which is something that it was completely thrown on me, just like commentary. They needed somebody to step up, fill the role. And I've luckily had the gift of gab, able to use my voice, which I attribute a lot to my music career, being able to speak fluently. And so without any sort of training or anybody really mentoring me, I've just kind of developed my own style of interviewing, really just, watching as many podcasts and as many interviews as I can with people like Mean Gene, Joey Styles, just kind of trying to learn on the fly myself.
Gotcha. So, okay, so where I understand you're not with the company anymore. So what went wrong?
What really went wrong was,
I want to ask a question right here, right now. Why are you getting paid before any of the fucking talent?
I don't know, ask the management that. This is why.
Because the commentators should never get paid before the talent, because without the talent, the commentators wouldn't fucking be there.
I'll answer that right now. Because I asked for me and Chris asked for a deal if we were to come back to do commentary, because on those Saturdays we're giving up money to come do them.
You guys are a bunch of nobodies that are coming into a business that you know nothing about.
A lot of conflicting egos. With the change of the company, we've had new management positions filled.
If you guys have questions why someone's not getting paid, take it with management. I'm not the one dealing out pay deals here, okay? Talk with management about that if you have such a problem with it, because I'm not the one with the fucking cash.
A former quote-unquote wrestler by the name of Thomas Swanson, he's sort of had a vendetta against me. We've never really got along too well, but, you know, I've always tried to maintain a professional relationship with all of the talent.
When it comes to professionalism, going on the SAW page and bringing up my drinking problem, how's that professional?
Okay, because here's the problem. We're talking about issues. I'm ready for that one, Tommy.
No,
I'm ready for that one.
I want to ask.
I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you on that because it's. Here's the thing that we're going to talk about the alcoholism. We're going to talk about the alcoholism.
Well, this young guy, Tom Swanson, he's decided to go around and start slandering my name within the company. I mean, there's been rumors spread about me which are ridiculous. The main one being that apparently I am a quote-unquote cokehead, which I'm not sure where exactly that rumor started, but what ended up happening was I had gotten a call after our most recent show, and I was told that I was given a 3-month suspension, which wasn't explained to me even in the slightest. But I really could tell that was sort of used as a tool to just kind of push me out the door. And given the fact that I wasn't paid, I really saw no need to come back, especially with, you know, the company's not paying me. It's not promoting me.
If you guys have questions why someone's not getting paid, take it with management. I'm not the one dealing out pay deals here, okay? Talk with management about that if you have such a problem with it, because I'm not the one with the fucking cash.
I had been working back towards the goal of becoming a manager once again. I mean, that's kind of my dream. Everybody has their dream in the professional wrestling industry. Mine's to be the next Paul Heyman, the next, you know, Jimmy Hart, just somebody who's able to manage these guys. And, you know, I could tell that wasn't going to happen. And with this suspension that had happened, which, like I said, wasn't explained to me, I just saw a need to just exit, remove myself from a situation where I'm being slandered, unappreciated. And I mean, I've been doing a lot for these guys, everything from going in for free, painting the venue that they are working at.
We're not going to be able to get paid until we act like people that are responsible and start working like people that are getting paid. Yeah, we're going to have to work like we're getting paid and not getting paid for like a month or two to get to where money's coming in, so we can get paid. We can't just talk back and sit back and be like, I ain't doing shit like it's a job until you pay me. Then you're never going to get paid.
Things of that nature, and when there's just a lack of respect, a lack of drive, and...
You already got $10,000 worth of work on that son of a bitch, and I don't have profiles to get it the rest of the way together. You want to talk about money? You want to talk about bullshit and money? Man, no. Drop it now.
A lack of direction. I just removed myself from the situation, which,
What you're gonna do is get your ass out of here right now.
Was very heartbreaking, I won't even lie. I mean, I had come to love these guys. I had thought there was a brotherhood, which, you know, there should be. But, fortunately for myself, as soon as I had made the announcement that I was leaving, you know Ron Von Hess.
Having to like take off the piss bag or whatever and pop like fucking 50 Vicodin or whatever just to be able to get into the fucking ring to do a match.
Yeah, I know him quite well.
Hess, being a guy who's always shown me a lot of love and a lot of respect, had offered me some work over at SCW, which of course I jumped on that. He had mentioned CPW. And with the fact that guys that are out-of-towners showing me a lot more love and respect than the guys that I've been with for a decade now.
Take a picture, because this is the last time you're ever going to see this in Spokane.
I really just had to take that opportunity to
I'm this, I'm that.
Migrate to another company and start putting my name out there. And a lot of respect has been shown from these legitimate veterans of professional wrestling, these trained veterans. And I mean, I don't want to say that there's anything wrong with them in pro wrestling. They're going to do what they're going to do, you know, and I'm always going to wish them the best.
But I feel like I turned another leaf, so guess what? You can disrespect me, but you can't disrespect my fans.
Good luck with all your future endeavors.
But for my own interest, I'm
this, I'm that.
I had to take a step back and realize, because I mean, when I got that call and told I was suspended, it really hurt. You know, it was an emotional thing, and I mean, we all want to pretend that we're big tough guys in the industry, but
that's because if you don't like it, there's the fucking door.
I think a lot of us do have a lot of emotion, and I had a talk with my friend, the guy I used to manage, Daniel Rabita, and he had flat out told me, "What are you upset about? You're a great talent. You know, you bust your ass for these guys, and if they're not going to show you any respect, take your act on the road, pursue other places." And I mean, so far it went from being an unpaid, not respected talent in a local company to now I have opportunities to work with people around the state and hopefully around the country.
Agreed.
Me and Justin open our mouths, y'all can shut the fuck up right then. You don't want to bring money up.
That are showing a lot of love and a lot of respect for what I do.
Wow. So that's pretty much it with them, huh? I mean,
you know, I'm trying to maintain a friendship with a few of the guys.
It's frustrating. Is it not frustrating? Does everybody else who's there early in the morning working all day, does it not get frustrating to see the people that show up at the end and act like they put in just as much work at the end of the day as everybody else?
I can't do it. I don't feel the love for these guys that I used to, especially after an unexplained, you know, suspension, which I mean, 3 months suspended for, I still don't know it exactly. I hadn't had a conversation with any of them. Everybody just kind of 86'd me from the local scene. Their current owner, Jay Manson, he and I had a good talk. Me and him have decided to keep things civil and, keep things on a mutual respect due to the fact that my daughter absolutely loves this company. You know, she loves coming and watching. She has dreams of being a pro wrestler one day because of it.
I'm this, I'm that.
But other than that, I really just don't see a need to continue with a company that's as unappreciative of the people that give their time and their energy.
Now y'all can shut up so I can talk.
To better their product.
Yeah. Well, I heard a rumor, which, like I said, it's a rumor.
Right.
That you were a bouncer at one of, I guess they were running at a bar or something. You were a bouncer and you got fired, so you got some heat for that. Is there any truth to that, or is that?
You know, that's a very interesting situation. I actually did. I worked as a security guard, under the table work, of course, for the venue that they perform at, and I indeed got fired. Based off of just a hearsay rumor that had happened. And I mean, the way that those people had described the working condition was we were supposed to all work together. And what had happened was, you know, they put me in a position where I was supposed to be security on their back deck. And that thing fills up during their shows, you know, 70 plus people out on their back deck. And they have 3 other security guards by the door, you know, just standing around talking, and they're trying to get me to watch both sides of this gate, you know, over by the door. They had somebody try to hop the fence and bring a 6-pack of beer into the venue during one of their concerts while I was trying to maintain the crowd on the other side of the deck. Right. And, you know, without even being called and informed that I was fired, it wasn't until the next event when I was getting ready to go down to work that I had gotten a message, "Hey, you're fired." And I mean, the company itself was very ridiculous. Both the guy who I was the head of security and the HR person had given me 2 different stories of why I was fired. So I could tell that it had a lot to do with you know, just some sort of, I don't know exactly what it was, but I mean, it was a job that really, I'm quite pleased to actually be done with. You know, people don't treat the security at venues with enough respect, in my opinion, or understand how stressful that job is.
Now, let's dabble into the music industry. Are there any similarities in the music business and the pro wrestling industry in your eyes?
Oh, there is so many similarities. I could go on for hours about the similarities, but I think overall the entertainment industry as a whole shares a lot of, you know, similarities. I mean, you show up at a venue, you do your practice, you know, you get ready for the show, And overall, I mean, whether you're in a wrestling ring or you're doing music on a stage, it's all putting on an entertaining show for these fans. And, I mean, I've taken kind of a hiatus from doing live appearances, doing concerts and things like that, simply because promoters, and I don't know if it's just my city or if it's, a wide thing that happens, but, what I've noticed is these promoters, they tell you that you're paid in experience and, that you're paid in exposure. I mean, you know, you'll have a promoter say, hey, okay, we want you to open for this big name act. Here's 25 to 50 tickets we need you to sell. You're not going to get paid for it. You're going to be paying us to play. And I woke up one day and I just kind of realized to myself, if it's not putting food on the table for my daughter, why am I going out and working as hard as I am for nothing? And I mean, I've done, you know, I just celebrated this last year, my 10th anniversary of being in the music industry. I'm 27 years old. And it seems like promoters these days are so dependent upon the talent to do their job for them.
I'm this, I'm that.
That I had to take a step back.
You know, I noticed that too in the wrestling industry. A lot of promoters are lazy. The last great promoter in the Northwest that actually promoted, I think, is Don Owens. I mean, a promoter's job to bring, you know, promote the wrestling, bring people in, and it's the wrestler's jobs to keep them coming back and keep them staying. And
that's the exact same with the music industry.
Yep, and you know, you see these just people promoting on Facebook, and that's it, and that's so limited. I mean,
what that helps you do is that helps promote not only yourself to other companies, that promotes you, the company as a whole that you base work at. It's just a really good thing, you know what I mean? Once you start getting more likes on your page, you get the random suggested like things. That's how I find a bunch of the indie wrestlers that I like, is just suggested likes from their page. Once you get about 1,000 likes on it, it starts really promoting itself to other people, and it's, you know, you can post up your pictures, your videos, a little biography about yourself. There's all these ways to do it, and then you know what, that leaves it available for the fans to keep interacting with you, but there's no need to
go out, paper the towns, go out. I mean, there's so much a promoter could do, but
I've been out passing out flyers, I've been printing out flyers. I bug the shit out of Jesse and J-Law whenever the fuck there's practice.
I don't know about the music industry, but I know in the wrestling industry, a lot of times you get the money marks and they just want to be part of the business, and they're not, you know, promoting. They're just
right
part of the show.
Right, and you know, that's a very good
I'm this, I'm that.
point. I was actually talking to an artist that I know by the name of Crown Royal last night about this. You know, you say a big-named artist comes to town that you really like, you know. Yeah. It would be the same as, you know, if, like, say, Rob Van Dam was coming to wrestle on a local promotion. You get these guys that are just so excited to be on the same bill as that person that they're willing to deny their own career. They're content to be an opening act for their entire career. And I've hit a point that, yes, I love performing on stage. I love, you know, doing music and doing what I do.
If you guys have questions why someone's not getting paid, take it with management. I'm not the one dealing out pay deals here, okay? Talk with management about that if you have such a problem with it, because I'm not the one with the fucking cash.
But unless I am getting paid, I don't see a need, because it's a career. I can't ask a plumber to come to my house and work on the piping and tell them, okay, well, hey, you're going to get paid in exposure. You know, people are going to know that you came to my house and you did my plumbing. That's not how it works.
Yep.
And so at this point, I've just kind of taken a step back. I'm actually about to start working on my next album, which is, it's been a year since I dropped my last one, which on a local scale, I did fairly well, over 2,000 copies sold of my last album. And we're a pretty small town, given the big picture of things.
I'm fighting for the city, and I'm fighting for the state.
But I mean, I got kind of jaded after the experiences I've had. And my next show that I am booked for, you know the Northwest artist by the name of KNOTHEAD, Steve Margrath, yes?
And this is for certain people out there that know who you are, that don't fucking work, that get a check once a month, that are under 30 years old, don't know shit, and still like to flap your fucking mouth about how things and businesses are ran.
Yes, I want to give a shout out to KNOTHEAD. I haven't talked to him in a while, though. What's up, my brother?
I'm this, I'm that.
I love that guy. When I was 17 years old, I had met him, and he actually came to one of my first backyard wrestling events that I was part of, and him and his wife actually super glued my head shut after a incident with a cookie sheet, dropped me off the house, but we became quite close after that, and that he is doing a show December 17th, opening for the band Head PE. And I had let him know that I was interested in coming down to Portland to come watch him perform. And out of respect for everything he's done for me, he just asked me, hey, we have this great collab track that we've done. Why don't you bring the copy of the instrumental down and perform with me? So, I mean, I'm going to be going down to Portland to rock a song on his set for that show. And, I mean, that right there is a lot for me. I'm actually willing to do the free promotion for him and do that unpaid gig.
You want to talk about money? You want to talk about bullshit and money? Man, no. Drop it now.
Simply because I was planning on going anyways. But I mean, he shows a lot of respect by, hey man, you're coming down to watch me. Why don't you get up on stage and perform with me? So I mean, that's a payoff right there. If I was on a local scale, of course I'd be wanting to get paid for the event. But
if I mentioned how much I would actually get billed for that. You want to shit bricks for a minute?
I take a lot of respect that he throws my way. And I mean, him and his wonderful wife, Annie, have, made it quite clear, hey, you're going to come stay at our house. We're going to feed you. We're going to make sure you have a place to sleep and just come enjoy yourself, which is something that I take as a lot of respect from him. I mean, he's a really good guy.
We get paid by the hour anyway, so I'm good to go. That works. Right?
Yeah, great guy. Great guy. So what are your biggest pet peeves in wrestling or in music, in the music industry, if you haven't already touched on it?
My biggest pet peeves are just the way that promoters are treating, I mean, whether it's music or wrestling, the way these promoters treat these young talents like myself.
That's a coward right there. I don't think anybody can disagree with me on this fact. That man is not a good person.
He'll probably be a little upset that I mentioned him, but I really don't care. But a young wrestler by the name of
doesn't matter which one,
Alex Anderson, he has got one of the most passionate hearts for the industry of professional wrestling. He joined Spokane Anarchy Wrestling when he was 15 years old. And I mean, he has just done nothing but bust his ass to try to get booked on these shows.
What can I say after that real quick?
And I mean, they've had him going to the venue, cleaning toilets, doing cleaning jobs with just the hopes of being booked. I mean, not even talking about paying him.
That's because if you don't like it, there's the fucking door.
And I mean, up until recently, he spent about a year just busting his ass just to get booked, whereas they're taking these other young trainees that have barely been into their training, and they're booking these guys. And this kid is, let me give you a little background on Alex Anderson. He was born with a condition where his heart was on the other side of his chest than everybody else. And I mean, I've always preached to these promoters, like, you guys don't understand how much of a draw he could be and how much of a moneymaker he could be, because, I mean, he's the most...
I'm not the one with the fucking cash.
Bright-eyed, passionate youngster that can give hope to these other kids born with conditions that they don't have to fail at their dreams. If they have a dream, no matter what, they can push forward and make their dreams come true. And I've been preaching at them for well over a year that they need to capitalize on that with that John Cena never give up attitude.
Oh, big shit.
And offer inspiration and hope. But I mean, he's just been misused and mistreated. And luckily he's booked for their next show, which he's one of the few guys that I'm going to be keeping in contact with from the company. But, it's just my biggest pet peeves are how these guys misuse the talent. And I mean, that's everywhere from the WWE and down. It seems like the most passionate people are the most misused, and these people that are, no offense, lazy.
You are going to say I was one of the characters doing that.
Are given these top spots when they have little passion left, it seems like.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So, who inspires you?
Well, I mean, I've said before, I'm a talker. I'm not a wrestler. I dreamed of being a wrestler, but the people that inspire me on a smaller scale, and I mean, I don't mean to mark out, but Chief Attakullakulla is by far one of the biggest inspirations I have. But on the big name scale, Roddy Piper was always one of my biggest heroes. Rest in peace. He's actually the man that inspired me to be in the professional wrestling industry. Do you mind if I share a story about Roddy Piper?
Oh, yeah, go right ahead.
So when I was a very young kid, I grew up on the Coeur d'Alene Reservation, and we had Roddy Piper come to our city and do one of those anti-drug speeches at our school.
Uh-huh.
And I was the kid. We all know when we were in elementary and middle school, we all know that one kid who was picked on and beat up all the time, that everybody treated very poorly. I was that kid. Well, when Roddy Piper came to our school after the assembly, I was in the hallway getting beat up by a couple of kids, and all of a sudden I heard, "You better get the hell off of him." Roddy Piper grabbed this kid, yanked him off of me, of course did the whole gimmick, scared these kids out of their mind, helped me up. Oh yeah, and he helped me up and spent the rest of the day that he was at our school with me and my friends who were also the unpopular kids, and just gave me a very big talk about following my dreams and, you know, a very good anti-bullying speech. And that night he gave us free tickets to come down to the show that they were doing out at the casino. And I mean, ever since that, it was just the fact that a man would take the time to not only defend somebody, but then give them that passion and that hope. And I took that as a life lesson, and that's what really inspired me to continue with my dream of being in the professional wrestling industry. And other than Piper, I would have to say, you know, the guy I look up to the absolute most in the world of professional wrestling is Paul Heyman.
So shut the hell up.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Paul is a prime example of somebody who, he seems like a renegade, and not just from his years in the ECW, but I mean, you know, he's one of the few guys that has stood toe-to-toe with Vincent Kennedy McMahon and, you know, said his piece and never backed down. And I've got nothing but the utmost respect for somebody who values themselves to the degree that they won't be pushed around.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So what are your future goals in the music industry and in the wrestling industry?
In the music industry, I just want to put out at least one more album, and you know, I've actually accomplished every dream that when I first started I set out for myself. Like, I've done 2 coastal tours, I've done regional tours at least 10 times. I mean, I've got to open up for so many artists that I grew up listening to, got to go on tour with artists that I've listened to.
Give them a second to dreaming
get everybody in here.
The ones I used to know.
That's my promo.
So at this point, my biggest goal in the music industry is just to put out one more album at least that I can just really air my grievances. And now the gimmick for this album is literally just to put out an album talking about the faults within the music industry, to inspire other young artists to never give up on that passion. And as far as the wrestling industry goes, I really want to pursue my dreams as a manager.
No one will notice in this fucking room. Are you kidding me?
Find a talent to work with, somebody I can mesh with, and hopefully at least take a couple years to, you know, live out some of those last dreams and really tour. I mean, with Hess offering me a spot over at SCW, you know, and opening the door for CPW.
I say no to that for right now. I'm
hoping to just get a chance to really meet some of the guys that I've grown up, you know, looking up to, and just learn these stories, and that's the main payout.
I'm not the one with the fucking cash. That's the bottom line on that.
You're the one getting the cash, and you know what? It's an integrity factor that you could stand up and say, hey, pay the talent before you pay me. That's an integrity thing.
He's right.
A lot of people, you know, what is success to a lot of people? And success to me is just living the dream. I'll be able to go to my grave ready knowing that I have achieved every goal that I set for myself in the music industry. And, you know, there's a few goals I have left for the wrestling industry, primarily being just to have that spotlight one more time and to help launch somebody if I can using my voice, because God gave me a voice to use, and I want to use it to leave a mark and leave a legacy that my grandkids can one day look back and say, oh yeah, Grandpa Mark, yeah, he definitely lived his dreams. He was a great voice in the world of wrestling. And that's really just the main goal right there, is to be successful on my terms.
Yeah. Damn, tickled my tonsils, yo.
So, when you're in the music business, you want to let everyone know what your I don't even want to call it the gimmick name, or do you use your real name?
Oh no, I have a my gimmick name is it used to be Sick Boy, which the reason I got the name Sick Boy was the first time I had ever rapped for a group of people. This dude looked at me and he goes, "Man, you so sick, boy." And I was like, I like that right there, Sick Boy. So I had actually transitioned about 2 years ago into a new name, Sick Vicious, which is a shout out to the former Sex Pistols artist Sid Vicious.
Yep.
But I mean, my gimmick has always just been that I'm a rapper that does not like rap. I'm a very punk rock influenced artist. The main reason I ever started rapping was I couldn't find a band.
He's been screwing me.
And then there was people who told me, well, you can't do that. And I'm a very, very big person, and if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to prove you wrong.
I am so fucking sick and tired of each and every goddamn one of you think you're some goddamn superstar.
But I mean, everybody's known me for the last 2 years as Sick Vicious.
Oh, wow, okay. So I got a question here. What past or present musician?
Could you repeat that one more time?
It's a room's bad when your farts smell better than the fucking room does. All right.
Okay. What past or present musician or pro wrestler would you like to sit down and have a dinner and pick their minds with?
Well, I mean, as far as musicians go, I don't know if you've ever heard of the band Social Distortion.
Uh-huh.
But Mike Ness is by far the guy that I look up to the most in the music industry. And I mean, a lot of people think that's strange given that he's a punk rock, rockabilly styled artist.
Fuck off.
But I mean, the man has such a legacy and a career. It's just, I would love to sit down with him. And as far as the world of professional wrestling is concerned, a lot of people might be surprised by my answer, but
my brother's fucking half Mexican. I can't be racist.
The guy I would love to sit down with and be able to pick his brain, as difficult as it might be, would be none other than Brock Lesnar.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Brock Lesnar is a pure example of somebody who...
Okay, well, whatever.
...does things his way and doesn't sell out, doesn't require the appreciation or the... He doesn't need anybody to tell him that he's good because he knows he's good.
Are you fucking greaseball?
And he knows what he does, and he's successful in any avenue he's gone down, minus football. He's been nothing but successful at.
So what do you think about that whole, did you watch the Randy Orton-Brock Lesnar match?
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I thought that was great.
Don't do anything Mark says. Do everything you say.
And a lot of people are very angry about that, but I mean, I thought it was one of the most beautiful things I had seen in a long time, and people might think that's strange,
That's fucked up.
But it's from a business standpoint, I mean, nothing but success came out of that. Randy Orton will now go on to have an even better career, and he will have more people sympathizing with him, which will increase his fan base based off of the beating that he took. And, overall for the industry, it showed a lot more legitimizing, which I'm a very big fan of the hard style and the shoot style of wrestling.
They didn't make your goddamn excuse.
Like, I'm not a fan of this whole PG era of wrestling. And as far as people being upset and saying, oh, Brock needs to be suspended, Brock needs to be fired.
I'm this, I'm that.
My answer to that is, okay, you have a guy by the name of Seth Rollins who ended the career of Sting. He broke Cena's nose. And then, what happened with Finn Balor, everybody's still singing his praises. But you look at Randy Orton, who had to get 10 staples. I mean, he was already on SmackDown. His career's not damaged. He will have a scar from it. But I think it was a beautiful thing. It showed that there's a legitimization, and whoever finally does topple Brock Lesnar, they're going to have a huge push in their careers. So, I mean, I thought it was a beautiful thing.
Okay, well, we're running down on time here, but before we go and we get all the plugs and stuff in, I want to play a little word association game. I say some things, and you just blurt out the first thing that pops into your mind. You down with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump.
WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump.
WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. WWE
Goofy.
Hillary Clinton.
The devil.
Politics.
What
Boring.
is the mentality? Are you afraid to do like you're getting
Great
pumped
musician.
out if you do what you're asked to?
Eminem.
I don't get it. It's like a
One of the
third
greatest of
grade.
all time.
Vince McMahon.
One of my heroes.
You guys are supposed to be adults, but you all are children in adult bodies. And the saddest part is a lot of you have children. I really don't know what else to say because y'all piss me off.
Diabetes.
Okay, we are coming to the end, and
You guys are a bunch of nobodies that are coming into a business that you know nothing about.